Thank you all. So this is the continuation of the public hearing. It is for the legal guidance for temporary moratorium. And I don't think we have to go through the whole statement of purpose and all the definitions like Kim, you did it last time, right? And it's already posted out there and public have it. So, you want to address, Kim?
We started the public hearing last month. There was a question raised by the commission about the time frame. There was also public comment from CT Pharma. There were two individuals from that company present who also questioned the same. The effective date and term under Section 4 of the proposed temporary moratorium states, as currently proposed, this temporary and limited moratorium shall become effective on the whatever date it's approved and shall remain in effect until, and in parentheses, 1 year from the date of approval. I contacted our town attorney, Carrie Olson, with Martha Canina. We did have a conversation about is there a way to say shall not exceed 1 year. We can certainly do that, but you still need to have a hearing to end the moratorium. But we can certainly put that language in there. That way, if CT Pharma, who had made the comments during the hearing, if they wish to at least start their process, depending on how we address the adult cannabis use, they can certainly do that. So it won't hold them up. But we would still have to have a hearing to terminate the moratorium.
So I believe last time we had talked about that and said maybe something like up to, well, that's what I mean.
Not more.
Okay.
We can do not to exceed. Not to exceed.
Yep.
1 year.
Okay.
We could put that in there.
Do we really have to put in the reopen portion that you spoke of, or that's automatically assumed?
No, we would have to have a hearing to terminate.
It doesn't have to be in the verbiage.
No,
does it?
no.
Okay, it doesn't.
No.
So what I would like to do is ask, I mean, I see one person here. Are you here to address the cannabis? Okay. All right. So, just like to, again, just for record purposes, like anybody in the public who would like to address to the commission on this public hearing. Seeing none, start with
Motion to close the
Commissioner.
public hearing.
Second. Oh, wait, am I seated?
Well, no,
Yes,
we're
yes.
all seated.
All seated.
I don't have to ask that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Let's see. Going to item 3, public comments. Anyone in the public who would like to address the commission on any of the items not on the agenda? Seeing none,
I would like to, as a staff person, under either any other business, address some of the concerns with respect to the new legislation, if I could, at that time.
okay. Can I have a motion for the consent agenda?
You have to do it because I wasn't here.
Motion.
To approve minutes and actions
Oh, okay.
from September 15th.
Motion to approve consent agenda, September 15th.
Can I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain, I wasn't here.
You want to abstain? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 5. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be,
Agenda item A, proposed temporary moratorium, Town of Rocky Hill. The Connecticut General Assembly has passed and the governor signed SB 1201, an act concerning responsible and equitable regulation of adult use cannabis. The act, portions of which are effective on July 1st, 2021. Said act contains provisions allowing municipalities to prohibit or place certain restrictions on new cannabis establishments. Proposed temporary moratorium will be in place for 1 year from the date of adoption. During the moratorium, new cannabis establishments shall be prohibited in the town of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, and any and all applications submitted for the approval of any cannabis establishment should not be accepted by the Planning and Zoning Commission or zoning enforcement officer as may be appropriate. The moratorium will not apply to legally authorized cannabis establishments in existence as of the date of adoption. Refer to item 1A for full text.
all right, any discussion?
I think we need to put a motion on the table before we
Yep.
discuss. Motion to approve verbiage in A with the following change to section 4, that the effective date be from the date of approval and shall remain in effect for up to and not to exceed 1 year from the date of approval.
Can I have a second? All right, any discussion?
Just what we talked about, and it seems very fair and very straightforward.
All right, yeah, I think this will give opportunity until state comes up with clarifying the regulations, right? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item 6, any other business? Zoning enforcement updates?
Zoning enforcement, with respect to zoning enforcement, we're seeing there's a lot of light complaints, and I know there's not zoning, but we are seeing many more frivolous complaints coming in. I think society as a whole has been a little more tense than normal because of the pandemic, and I know in our office, whether it be engineering-related complaints or zoning complaints, blight complaints, we're seeing a lot more, and it's more of neighbors not getting along, very frivolous complaints, a lot of civil matters, a lot of things are civil matters, trees, dead and dying branches falling on others' properties, that type of thing. So there's been a lot of that going on. We're working with, and we just contacted Al Chuli down on Evans Road. There was someone witnessed truckloads of material being hauled into that property, so we're trying to set something up with him so he can go down and inspect that to make sure that they're not doing something they're not supposed to now that the zone has changed.
Jim, question for you about that when you mentioned light. I saw this sign was put in at the high school. One of the conditions on that was a light measurement in the property.
We have the before, we don't have the after yet.
Okay. I just wanted to follow up on it. I saw the sign, I just wanted to follow up.
Any minor modifications?
No.
Plan implementation committee update?
Well, we do have one piece of good news that I did share with Dimple today. We did have a Greenway application that came in, connecting the town parks, Ferry Park, Quarry Park, Swallow Park, Buckley Park, and Vivian Pond Park. That did pass muster, was approved by the Greenways committee, and there will be a presentation in the spring, so that will be a designated Greenway. Thanks to Ed Ciccarello and Sandy Kelly for all their efforts.
Yeah, that was a good initiative on their part. Legislation update?
On your table this evening, I did put a few things. One, I don't even know if I have it here. We already have accessory apartments in our regulations as far as requiring an administrative process. The legislation, is asking that there not be a special permit process for accessory apartments. We got rid of that requirement, quite a while ago, so it is a process through staff. One of the requirements is, that we allow detached units. You can allow for detached units. This also goes along with the healthcare pods that have been discussed in the past as well for caregivers or patients, people to live near their kids or near relatives, but not necessarily in the same home, but on their property. So what I'm suggesting, and this is something I'll propose at a future meeting, is that we modify the language of our accessory apartment regulations, which to read, the principal unit and accessory unit may be connected by at least one operable door on the common wall, so that the floor area utilized for accessory unit can be reintegrated into the principal unit in the future, or the accessory unit may be detached accessory structure in compliance with section 3D1 and 3D2. Those other sections provides kind of like a checks and balances with respect to square footage of accessory apartments or accessory structures on the property, because the total square footage of accessory structures cannot exceed the square footage of the principal dwelling unit. In concert with that, I did have a question, that's why I left it in kind of a reddish color, as far as accessory apartments shall not, and this is result more than 2 bedrooms for an accessory dwelling unit. The idea is to provide housing opportunities for all, so you don't want the accessory dwelling unit to discriminate against families with many children. So I have a question on that, that's why that's in that red color now. So when it comes to you next month, that'll be finalized. Okay, this is just food for thought for next month's meeting. One of the other things that the new legislation is talking about, and this is rather big because all towns do this. I don't even know if I have my copy here. The term character, community character, they're getting away from the term community character, so what you need to look at is the character or physical character of a property or physical character of a building. You cannot look at community character, and this is in the legislation. Trying to see if I even have a copy of it here. Yeah, so you have on the table, I printed out some of the zoning regulations. I basically did a find, seek and find, and the words character. Some of those I eliminated. We have I think 37 spots in the regulations where the word character or characteristic is used. Some of them were referencing a building when we talk about like the town center or the village district. Many of those were referencing, the appearance of the building, the character of the building. That wouldn't be applying here, but if it references the character of the community, for example, or the character of the district, under 1B2, other purposes, to divide the town into districts with considerations to the character of each district. So the word character there, we have to get away from that under our new zoning and labeling legislation that they just recently passed. So these are areas that all these need to be modified, and that'll be coming to you next month also.
What about the POCD?
That will have to be updated as well.
But that doesn't come through us, that goes through, well, it does come through
No,
us.
it goes to, but I think that will
It starts
happen.
at tick and then it comes to us, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's a long
I mean,
process.
this is just like a tip of the iceberg, because, if you look at the legislation that's been approved, they're talking about parking regulations need to be modified also, as far as if you have a one-bedroom unit, you can have one space. If you have 2 bedrooms or more in a multifamily unit, you can have 2 spaces, not to exceed 2 spaces. So, our regulations will need to be modified. So,
Did they give a purpose statement for the changes?
well, I've been feeding you various things through the months, as far as why they're doing this, for whether it be low impact development, affordable housing, development costs, so there's a variety of reasons, furthering fair housing.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering if they're just trying to get some consistent focus to that use of that word. So if you say character of the neighborhood.
Oh, character, okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, I meant with
Yeah.
that character. Because I was just thinking out loud here, if they want the focus to be on character of a property, character of the building, so would the clarification be that you're going to put and change characteristics or character to character of the property and buildings in the surrounding neighborhood?
Not
Surrounding, right? It's just they're talking about that particular building, right?
Yeah, I think what they're trying to, they're trying to desegregate. They're trying to desegregate, they're trying to make more equity for folks and for municipalities. So where we may have a rural character in certain areas of our community, Hartford may have a more urban character. So I guess they're trying to get away from that type of thing. They're talking, in some instances, they're talking about, I know down the road, they're talking about minimum lot sizes. Why are minimum lot sizes so large in the suburbs? Whereas in the cities or the villages, maybe in the eastern part of the state, you may have a lot that's 5,000 square feet. Whereas we may have a lot that's an acre in size. I know at one point Rocky Hill wanted to do 2-acre zoning. That didn't go anywhere, but there was discussion on some members of the commission way back when. They wanted to do 2-acre zoning.
Okay.
We're trying to make things more fair and equitable for all, so.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering where, if we completely comprehend the purpose of where they're going with it, then we'll be able to make better comments
We'll get
about
you,
how we.
yeah, this is just so you know that there's something coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll get you plenty more information on that. Apologize.
So like this bill, that's what it defines. So it has, they're saying, be drafted with reasonable consideration as to the physical site characteristics of the district and the regulations that will be coming to us, the changes, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's an updated version. When whoever copied them, they copied just the odd pages. That was in your packet. But on the table is the whole document.
And I think there's also like a PowerPoint presentation from some of the attorneys.
Yeah, I think that was
provided.
I think that was
before.
given to you before.
Yep.
That's by Halloran and Sage.
Yep.
That was given to you in the previous packet. I can certainly give that out again, and give that to you folks again.
Yeah, because now it's like,
Yeah.
because now we are going to address those,
So I'll email that out to you.
any other updates?
I think that's it.
So this is what you wanted to talk before?
Yeah, well, no, I wanted to tell you about the accessory apartments. I wanted to tell you about the character and how we have.
Yep.
That's it.
So you said in the public comment area.
Well, I think I covered it.
You did? Okay. All right. Moving on to agenda item 7, communications.
What do we have here? We have a few things. We have, there's an article, as you can see, Ray Carpentino is there. We have our meeting dates and deadlines, tentative meeting dates and deadlines for next year. The question was highlighted in like a dark red color, in December, of next year, and I know that's ways away, but, do you want to meet on the 14th, which is the second Wednesday of the month, that has a conflict with the Open Space Conservation Commission, or do you want to put it off till December 21st?
Doesn't matter.
Keep in mind, we can change meeting dates. We can always hold a special meeting in this case on a different date, so we can leave it as is for now.
Yeah, we can leave it as is, depending on what comes
Okay,
on the agenda, we can address it.
okay. But this will have to be adopted by the commission or approved by the commission. So if you want, you can either add it to this agenda and act on it, or put it on the next month's agenda.
Yeah, we can,
Motion to add, the tentative 2022 meeting schedule to this agenda.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
That's adding it to the agenda. You want to do
Now we have to act on, approve.
Motion to approve the 2022 meeting schedule as presented in our packet.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. The meeting schedule is adopted. Agenda item 8, approve bills. I don't see any bills. Agenda item 9.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.